Welcome into the Three Wanks FPL podcast. We are here. Two of us are here we got dragged into this, and one of us is here because he's super fucking excited. If you want to look at what I'm wearing and the ranks on your screen. But yeah, welcome back. It's been a little bit of a break for some of us needed, for some of us probably too long. How are we doing, gents?
Dude, I've been missing it. I've been clicking my live FPL. I've been clicking my FPL app. I've been refreshing, and I'm like, damn, it's not time yet.
You're ranked baiting.
Yeah, basically, I'm itching. I'm itching to be back.
Mac?
I'm like the opposite side, obviously. Took a 100k red arrow last week. Lovely. Personally, I'm good. My life's been great. Not thinking about FPL. It's like
or soccer as a whole.
Like, yeah, right. It's the meme of like the two dudes on a bus where one's like FPL's back and the other's like FPL's back.
Yeah.
So what's happening in real time right here?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, fuck soccer.
Yeah,
that's what I gotta say.
Same boat. No, yeah, this Gameweek 29 was easily my least favorite week of FPL of all time. Not even close. And just kind of in the way it happened too, in the sense of, as someone who didn't have Semenyo and Joao Pedro, you get the Semenyo goal and then immediately just 3 Joao Pedro goals right in a row. I was in a work meeting at the time, and I think people probably thought I was having an aneurysm because I'd like glance at my phone and then be like, fuck, like, you know, so it was rough times. Continues to be rough times for me. I think that's a kaput on the season, but I'm glad to see that somebody in the pod league is doing well. That is something necessary. The past 3 seasons, one of us has always done stellar and the other 2 have done pretty bad. So this is kind of par for the course, I think.
Actually,
and it was your turn
too. So
yeah,
by that next year is my turn.
Yeah, exactly. We've done a proper rotation.
I don't want to give it up that easy, so we'll see. Dude, I forgot how nice that day at work was, though. I was checking my phone. I was like, I literally walked.
Oh, you were checking your phone?
Calm down. I walked into a meeting for 30 minutes. I come back to your text and then the live FPL notification. I just click them. And I was like, oh, they just keep going. What is this? And then the Anderson goal was just the cherry on top of the cake.
Cherry on top.
Because of you.
No, I'd like to comment on that, though. Are you just trying to be an asshole? Because for the viewers
that one I certainly was.
Every week what happens is we have a group chat where I'll say like, oh my God, Joao Pedro. And then Sharpe will respond and say, what, he scored? As if every single person who plays FPL doesn't get a notification from the fucking application that we play the game on for every goal. He plays dumb as soon as his player does well. Oh, what? And then he has the audacity to text back and respond instead of just clicking on the other fucking notification and identifying what's going on, hold on. Dig that knife in deep. And boy, does it work.
Does the FPL app has a notification?
Oh, give me. Let's just.
No, I'm dead ass serious. I don't have notifications on for them.
I'm good on the pod.
I've never seen that notification. The only ones I get are the live FPL if my rank's been affected.
For my sanity, please turn on the fucking notifications, because it is infuriating to see an FPL notification come across that says Joao Pedro goal, Joao Pedro goal, Joao Pedro goal, and then Sharpe go, what's going on? Did Joao Pedro score? It makes me want to freak out. Anyway, so you guys can tell where my headspace is. The banana does things to me.
Yeah, that explains the stain in front of your mouth too.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's take a look at rank review. Just a brutal week for that guy in blue. Can't imagine who that is, but on the positive end, we have. I mean, is this your first time at a 5-digit rank this year, Sharpe, or second time?
Game week 16, I was at 80 something. This is my all-time high. As we touched on, the last 2 years have not been pretty for me, but it was also, I don't know, I didn't play the entire season the last 2 years either, so this has been quite a change and it's been fun. So nice. I'm excited about it.
It's about as much time as I want to spend on that.
I want to be happy for you. It's just what the people who watch don't see is how much of an asshole he is offline when he's doing it.
That's so true. However, like, I do want to identify that my frustration majorly comes from like Joao Pedro scoring 3 times would be annoying even if it was just you who owned him. But what really bothers me in those moments is not that you own him, it's that 60% of the game or whatever the fuck owns him.
Yes.
So like it like that's why I'm saying this was one of the worst weeks of all time, is because both of the guys that I had to dodge rank, I think at my rank, Semenyo was like 90% owned because some people captained him. Joao Pedro was probably, I don't know, 60 is my guess. I don't remember exactly. So both of them returning was just a fucking knife to the heart over and over again. But anyway, enough about my lamenting. So this is very much so reflected in the points game. Yeah, it's kaput for me, but I'm glad that Sharpe's doing well. I'm really excited for him. All right, jumping into game week review. I have genuinely not opened the app, so I don't remember what happened in defense. That's excellent.
For what happened.
I know it wasn't good. Double clean from the Arsenal defense. Alderete auto sub for Wilson. Got a nice 7-pointer. That's great. Gehi and Virgil are dead to me. Bruno Fernandes looks like he returned. Bumo didn't. Dango didn't, and neither did my captain Thiago. I remember that. I do remember that part. I remember the week starting off with a captaincy blank and just a Brentford on the whole blank, which meant things were going to go really well. And then my other two forwards also blanked. Excellent stuff. So yeah, what a week. Moving right along there, we can jump into Max team.
Dude, I'm in the same boat. I got a couple things to say. I'm disappointed for two reasons. One, because I feel like I made good choices and somehow got massively punished for it.
I was feeling that way when I was looking at like just some cursory my cursory entry back of seeing some like content creator transfer targets, and it's all just the players I already have. And I was like, fucking sick.
No, I feel like I got punished for being like where I wanted to be ahead of the game, and that's just the game. And like I'll get more into that in a second. But the overarching reason that I'm just upset, I'm going to get it out early, is because I'm a Spurs fan and they are just so unfun that I'm fragile. And every time I get the most minor inconvenience in FPL, I'm like, I'm having no fun. Like, it's not good on a club level. It's not good on what's usually my escape, because I mean, Spurs haven't been great assets in FPL in a couple of years, if we're being honest. So it's like, I'm just like, I just can't. And it's just been misery since. What I say by that is, though, like, I captained Bruno Fernandes, who turned out to be the best captaincy option of the week besides Joao Pedro, because who could have expected that? I transfer in Semenyo, who scores.
Nice.
And so, like, and Gabriel gets 11 points and Raya gets 7 points. So I'm like, okay, I got a good team, good games. A lot of my guys are returning. And then somehow I get on, and I'm just like under my safety score by like 12 points. And I'm like, what's going on here? Joao Pedro alone cost me 30,000 ranks. But then there was just some other like nonsense, like a Saka goal cost me like a ridiculous amount of points. Like 7,000 ranks, and then Rodgers had a disallowed goal or a disallowed assist to Watkins, and it was just like, it started out so hot, and then it was just like one kick into the nuts after the other, and I was just like, oh my god. And so like Senesi benching, Liverpool not keeping the clean sheet, Alderete benching, like it was just bang 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 bang, and then Spurs are going for relegation at a breakneck pace. They've just done the inverse of Wolves. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, I genuinely cannot look at anything soccer related in a couple of weeks. I haven't listened to a podcast. I was reading a soccer book called Inverting the Period. Stop reading that. I have not watched a single Spurs game. I have not looked at the FPL app. And I'm feeling much better now.
And that's the venting session. Now we can get to the ring of applause for our leader. Take it away.
Yeah, Max bench looks more like my benches usually look, so that was kind of nice. I mean, to be honest, it's not like I had vastly different teams than you guys, which is probably the most annoying part for you guys. Like a Bournemouth defender. Mac has a Bournemouth defender. We all have Gabriel. Semenyo is on most of our teams. Bruno. I have two forwards that blanked as well. It's literally just Anderson and Joao Pedro that were my huge differentials, which is great. I actually don't remember if I started Anderson or if Wilson subbed.
No, you didn't start Anderson. Wilson subbed off.
Yeah.
And that's what's really annoying about it.
Also fair. But But yeah, no, I mean, got lucky with that one. And obviously, Joao Pedro's hat trick is just an absolutely absurd thing. I do think it's hilarious. I was just game that was, I believe, okay. Oh, that was 1-0. So there's only a goal scored. But the only reason that he's that high is he got the 3 bonus points because he had 17 fucking DEFCONs.
Yeah, because Saliba was out. So that is like a known thing at this point, right? Is if Saliba's out, Gabriel just mops up DEFCONs for lunch.
And it's amazing. I love that. I was just happy. I got a little bit of luck here, and I'm not mad about it. I'm gonna ride it out. The crazy 100%. Part is how good some of those feel. I mean, my game week rank was still 1.5, 1.6. Like there are people that had insane weeks out there.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's mostly chip play or if there's like a big threat that you didn't have.
If you got like a captaincy, 16 points, or if God forbid you had captain Joao Pedro.
Yeah,
true. Yeah, I think it's worth touching on Joao Pedro. Obviously, he's like the man of the week. It's basically, did you have him or did you not? I think this is a hilarious graphic that came from Rob T. It's just like he had to change the bounds of this graph to show how Joao Pedro's performance over the last few weeks. And I think I've been, honest about throughout the season. Like as a player, I love Joao Pedro. Like he's so fun to watch. He's a great vibe. He's a young talent. Like I love his, his confidence, like all that kind of stuff. I think he's really fun to watch. The problem with both him and Semenyo for me this season and why they've been such like painful assets is that I have owned both of them. And both times, as soon as I picked them up, they turned to shit. And Sharpe just has that Midas touch. And it is also, obviously, this is a random game. There's randomness always, but it is really funny to me that going into this week, for the last few weeks, we've been looking at Aston Villa. That is who they played, right? I'm not tripping. We've been looking at Aston Villa as a team where it's a lot of low event games where it's just like total XG for the game is like 1.5. And that had been true for like weeks and weeks. So if anything, you think this is the week that Joao Pedro probably slows up, and no, he bats in 3, of course. So it is what it is. Obviously, we can only moan so much, but it is just funny that like this season, I think part of the pain has been that it's not like, oh, I didn't pick this guy this week and he returned, and then I didn't pick this guy this week and he returned. It's been like consistent players who have been continuing to return. Early season, that was a player like Ekitike and Semenyo, and now Joao Pedro, and they've all gone through like the hottest of hot stretches and then the coldest of cold stretches. So as somebody who hasn't owned them, it's brutal that every week, like it continues to be the same guy. Like if I were to present to someone outside of FPL, be like, dude, every week it's like how it works is, players who are highly owned really affect your rank. And if you don't own them and they do well, your rank goes down. And every week it's these same 2 dudes. Somebody would just be like, I've been so many, whether it be expected minutes, whether it be him changing teams, whether it be this, that, and the other. With Joao Pedro, it's been overperformance early in the season, genuine benchings, like a crazy cold streak, and then all of that to say, it's just like a perfect storm for the most infuriating and hair-pulling assets in the game. But if you owned them this whole time, then you've been fucking chilling.
I mean, onto like your larger point, like you can blow that out to guys you don't think about, like Thiago, who everyone transfers out for his 3-game run and he puts up 5 goals,
right? Exactly,
6 10s in 5 games, and it's like, I seem to just be timing those on the exact wrong side of the coin flip every time.
Right. I captained him this week. I'm very familiar with the with his woes. So yeah, it is all a game, and ultimately it is all a ton of luck, and that's just how it goes. But it just to shed some light on why it feels especially brutal is that it's the same guys every week that are just kind of taunting you and being like, pick me, but as soon as you get them, they're gonna stop doing the thing they're doing. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I think Joao Pedro is really frustrating right now because he should have cooled off. He had the Arsenal game where he was cooled off, right? He had 2 points. He's playing a good defense. It's like, I think this dude's just going to be him. I think he's just going to be hot the rest of the year. Like, he's feeling good.
For sure. And I think, I think when we get to transfer plans, we can talk about that. He's could be a potential alternative to Haaland if you don't have him already, or really any other striker. Like, I think any team, you should be looking at a player like him. The flip side of it is, up until this week, it was a lot of mainly his returns were coming from assisting penalties. So it is kind of an odd, like, he's on this hot streak. It's really a question of, this is the game we play as FPL managers, is like, is that streak going to continue, right? And how long can they keep it up? God, I had a point there that I was going to make, but anyway, we can move right along. So fun times. One thing I guess we should talk about as well is that with regards to the FA Cup, that sheds some light onto potential doubles and blanks that are upcoming in future weeks. Still a lot that's uncertain, but some of the draws mean that certain teams are more likely to double than others. This is particularly pertinent for somebody like Mac, who is going to try to navigate the next few weeks without a wild card. For Sharpe and I, potentially we can, as long as we're wild carding before this time, then we can get these guys in for maybe a bench boost in 33, or at least to just have them. So this is Ben Krellen's classic imagery here that shows possible double game weeks. Orange is likely, white is unlikely, and blue is possible. So all of those are obviously in the realm of possibility, but higher likelihood goes to teams that are likely to win and move on. So the likeliest are City and Newcastle, Tottenham, Chelsea, United, Brighton, and Bournemouth, Arsenal. So City is an interesting one because they blank in 31. Damn, I guess I didn't realize that. Oh, no. Yeah. City, Palace, Wolves, and Arsenal all blank in 31.
Is that confirmed now that City moved on in the FA Cup?
I don't think that they've officially announced that City blank in 31, but I think now it's like a 95+% chance. I don't think that official announcement has come, but even as just like FPL players, we've seen that statement been put in proactively for those players. So I think it'd be weird for them to move it now. But I don't think that announcement has been officially made.
It's the same time every season. It's coming if it hasn't.
Yeah. So in 33, that puts some of the already highly owned teams in Arsenal and City as potential doublers. Also, Chelsea and United are probably the other really big teams that you'd potentially be interested in from that. Maybe a Bournemouth. I kind of think that's advantage you, Mac, because teams like Arsenal and City you already have so much of, especially as somebody who just bought Semenyo, that it seems like that maybe doesn't need to do as much tinkering as a wild card necessitates. And it potentially means that for you and I, Sharpe, like, we could just try to bring in those players now and save the wild card for a later day. I don't know if that necessarily makes sense with how little we have left in the season, but obviously I'm sure this is your first time looking at this, Mr. No Social Media. So what is your kind of like initial thoughts on that?
Well, the irony is, I feel like I was trying to text you guys, not that you wanted to respond to me, but it's fine, about who was advancing in the FA Cup and what that meant for fixtures. And just the amount that I've been looking at it, it's one of those where I'm like, I could get by without a wild card really easy here. It almost makes me wish I had done it earlier in the season when Mac had done it to be able to capitalize then as well. But yeah, no, there's really very little changes that I need to. We can get it into the transfer plans, but I've looked at it and tried to figure out in the players that I feel like I want, like I have the majority of right now, like you said. So
yeah,
little differential coming.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think that's a fair strategy. The flip side of this is that all those ones that are possible, like those are still relatively high likelihoods. Between 35 and 55% is close to a coin flip. So it could be that, you see some of these other teams like a Liverpool, for example, double, and that kind of changes that landscape where I guess all three of us have Van Dijk now, but and we have some Ekitike. So yeah, maybe it doesn't as much. I don't know. It is interesting. I think we have a lot of the top players, and maybe this is just a result of we're late in the season and we know who the best picks are from each of those top teams.
Well, I think right now when you look at where that blank game week is and everything, like there are basically 3 teams through 31. I feel like that you actually want based on fixture difficulty and then not blanking, and that is Liverpool, Bournemouth, and Brentford. And so it's like if you're already on those, like I feel like their runs pretty much continue. Like it's not like you're probably already there. And I think that's part of what's adding into this right now is that earlier blank game week steering you away from people in Palace and otherwise where you would have had them going into this when they had such a good run.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's just like food for thought, but for you and I with wild cards in our pockets, I feel like it is really kind of, we're in a luxury position of not really having to worry about this too much. Obviously for Mac, this is a lot more of a like, okay, potentially pressing, but again, what action can you take on something that we won't know for sure until a couple weeks from now anyway. So
yeah,
it's like, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to chip in with the non-wildcard perspective. Since I've already used that chip, I do still feel good about it. Like, you know, I was up to 300K before this disaster of a game week. So, you know, I gained 400K ranks in 4 weeks after using it. I feel pretty solid about that. And then I look at these weeks and I'm like, sort of what Sharpe said, where I feel like all of the players already from the teams that I want. Like, even if some of these potential guys happen, I'm not going to pick up a Burnley asset. Probably not going to pick up a Crystal Palace asset. Like, maybe, I don't know, but probably not. I guess it depends on if they double twice. That would make them more enticing. But I have City guys, you know, I have Liverpool assets. I don't have any Newcastle guys, but that's a harder game week because they play Arsenal potentially twice in 2 weeks. So, like, you know, I feel like as long as I'm paying attention, it'll be easy-ish to navigate just because I feel like I'm pretty set up for it. I think the real challenge is going to be not overreacting to this past game. We can do something stupid, and that's going to be the hardest part.
That's what I was just going to say. I think this, regardless of what your strategy is, even for Sharpe and I, who are potentially wildcarding in 32, I do think this does lend itself towards rolling your transfers, which are the magic words with Sharpe, which I don't even know why I try. Like, he's fucking whatever. But I think that is the magic word in the sense of, like, Sharpe and I, wildcard 32 on paper, but it could turn out that something here drastically changes. Somebody wins who's not supposed to, somebody drops out of the tournament, and or what have you. And Sharpe and I start to look at this and go, you know what, wildcard 32 into bench boost 33 really isn't that meaningful. And so we want to have those transfers rolled to be able to defend against. Because I guess the flip side of what you're saying, Mac, and I really think you're in a good position, but is what you're up against is not just the current ownership of these players. What you're up against is somebody, the large crowd, really, like, it's probably going to be the majority of the game, wildcarding in 32 and having, you know, the maximum potential bench boost team and attacking it that way. I think you're covered off just fine, so I don't think it's something to worry about. But that is the dilemma of you're up against somebody who has the perfect team, quote unquote, that week.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. I mean, only time will tell whether it was a good decision or not, right? Like, it could have been temporary gains, and this is the most massive double game week ever, which feels on trend for this season. It just hurt me more. But I don't know. The problem is when I look at these, you know, honestly, the best double game week potential game in 33 for me is that Leeds game with the Wolves Bournemouth. A lot of these aren't that great. Like, it's one hard fixture, one easy fixture, pretty much for every team. Now, a lot of these teams are capable of scoring, but I'm just not feeling like all of the games are so enticing to where I won't be able to cover by getting the main players for the games that are good, right?
Yeah, that's a fair call out.
Like, and the flip side to your flip side is that hopefully then I can.
We love a devil's advocate.
Yeah, hopefully then I can position myself better for those four, right? Like, ripping up your team for 33.
Yeah, it does feel like, looking at that wildcard 32 bench boost 33, it feels lackluster, right? Because I'm like, cool, so I wildcard into triple Arsenal, I wildcard into triple City, like stuff that I'm like, I kind of already have that. So I think it's super fair. One thing sorry, go ahead, Sharpe.
No, I was going to say two things. One, we want chaos to happen as wildcarders. Like, I would love the worst teams to advance in the FA Cup to have that upper hand. However, I agree. I don't think that's going to happen. So I think Mac's in a great spot. Two, I think it's really frustrating that our run out has some of the worst teams with the best fixture runs. Basically, the best fixtures that we have left, you're looking at like a West Ham, a Leeds. I think Sunderland's up there somewhere. Wolves, like, those aren't players that I wanted. Maybe. Yeah, but I'm like, and that doesn't get me excited. Like, there's not people to go after on those teams necessarily, or that we know of yet.
Right.
So I'm like, everyone's gonna still continue to have the high-owned guys.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up this graphic that now we've used a couple weeks in a row or what have you, but just to talk about that, just because you're seeing doubles doesn't necessarily mean that the player that you're going to get is going to play in every single game, and that's also worth considering. Obviously, there's only so much you can control and do in that sense, but it does, present more potential for rotation risk, especially with those teams at the top that are also playing in Champions League. Like we saw some of those games happen today. Like I think Haaland got pulled early. I forget at how many minutes, but gives you an indication that there just is potential for rotation. So even if you set your team up perfectly and have all the doubles in mind, it may just be that you get one game out of one of those guys. I mean, we've seen even a player who does play both and we triple captain them can underperform. So it doesn't really matter. And at this point, who cares? Who cares about FPL? Just do whatever you want. It's fine. Nobody cares.
Just go with vibes, baby.
Yeah, just go with vibes.
There are no vibes for me is the problem. Unfortunately, it's a little too real.
Yeah. This is my favorite graphic that I look at every week. This is an FPL Harry graphic just because I love it as gives you kind of a quick review of where teams are, how they've been doing, and then how they've been doing recently. Obviously, it's worked out super well for me using it. So definitely use this as a resource. But it does show a couple of interesting trends. One, that Chelsea were already one of the best attacks and continue to get better. They are officially now, in terms of XG per 90, the best team in the league in that sense. And a team that had
across the whole season. Oh, it says last 6. Okay.
Yeah, so last 6 in the far right column, but these are sorted by their XG per 90 on the season. So the center column of each thing gives you, your actual ranking over the season, and then the column to the far right gives you how you performed in the last 6. So it just gives you kind of the trend.
Good news for Mac. Tottenham's out of relegation in both of them.
Well, just barely.
Yep. Well,
just barely. Yeah. So, man, talk about kicking somebody when they're down.
I feel like he's staring lasers through his computer right now.
Yeah, he's gonna leave.
He's been doing it all week. Is the thing. Like people.
I sent one.
This is why I moved cities. Yeah, this is why I don't live near him anymore.
One text.
So yeah. Anyway, Chelsea are doing incredibly well in attack. Liverpool have gotten things going a little bit more in that sense. And then a lot of decliners in that top group, namely Brentford. So we talked about them having a great run. Obviously, Mac and I are invested 2x in that attack. And we have seen very directly how they've been underperforming a bit despite good fixtures. On the flip side of things, teams to target, are Tottenham, Wolves, and Newcastle in terms of just have seen serious regression in their defensive data. And I think for Newcastle, that's pertinent because, as we've seen, Joao Pedro is the greatest of all time, and he's now going to go play Newcastle this upcoming week. Sidebar on that, I mean, it's not like I've had Enzo this entire run and he's done absolutely nothing in the midst of Joao Pedro scoring 30 fucking goals, but whatever. So it does present you with an opportunity to potentially bring in either another or a Chelsea attacker as a way to get some fucking points. So yeah, that's that. I'm really having trouble keeping any sort of upbeat energy here.
This is wild. I've never actually seen you guys both just this.
Yeah, I do. I actually do love that I have a compatriot here because it makes me feel
I wore
better.
the hat for the first 8 game weeks of the season, and I'm more miserable now.
No, that's why I'm saying this genuinely was the worst. I've had worse game weeks in terms of game week rank and rank drop. I'm certain of it. But this is the worst game week in terms of vibes that I've ever had for sure.
Again, I'm not trying to take it out of FPL, but it's just the Spurs thing is weighing so heavy on the mind. That's the other factor. You're a mercenary, so at least you only have one access of just despair.
Yeah, my heart is in hockey, and that's going just fine. So yeah,
but right, fair. So I'm going to be a mercenary next year. Maybe that'll be better for me.
Yeah, it's looking tough. I feel for you, buddy. All right. So any other high level like landscape, FPL landscape, or specific team notes that you guys want to touch on of things that we should be aware of going into the next few weeks? God, this banana makes me look fucking ridiculous.
I think it makes you look good. Makes you look a
Really?
little bald. But
thanks. Yeah, it does make me look completely bald.
I did want to ask what you guys are
Shows
thinking
off the 5.
about Morgan Rogers. Because he's
I'm upset he's still on my team.
he's a bum, but his fixtures are about to get so good. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I
but
feel like we've been
Villa's
saying
so
that every week.
bad.
mean-
My problem is genuinely I don't know where else to go at this point. So
Well,
I'm gonna
that's what
play him.
that's
But
what I'm
I
saying.
would, I would not recommend that anyone go to him. I think he is absolutely a bum. I just don't have anywhere else to spend that money or any other mid that I feel like I absolutely have to have.
And they just lost 2-0 to Wolves, 1-1 to the Leeds.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with losing to Wolves at Wolves. All right, it happens.
I think you guys like you do bring up a good point though of like if you sort the fixture ticker over the next 5, top of the ticker is Forest, where like I suppose you could go for some differentials. You could go for Elliot Anderson. Fuck my life. You have Aston Villa, Brentford, Liverpool. So if you haven't already invested in a Brentford player, could be a good time to do so. However, we just talked about how their attack is getting worse, not getting better. Liverpool, I do think Ekitike is still a buy. They're playing Tottenham this week. Sorry, Mac. And it could be a nice one in that sense. You could double up. I need an update on whether Reverts is coming back for sure this week, but I would assume the answer to that is yes, in which case I think he's definitely an option. Yeah, but I hear your point on like maybe on paper Morgan Rogers is a buy. Famous last words, because this is me every fucking week, but let him score. I'm okay not owning him. It's not somebody I'm trying to go buy.
Oh, thank God we're saved. He's going to score, everybody.
Yeah, he's going to score.
Let's go.
He's going to get a fucking hat trick.
I'm actually putting him first on my bench so that he can get subbed on.
Yeah, that sounds right. This is really fun, guys. I'm having a great time.
I feel like this isn't like that big of a week is the problem, because it's really just kind of the calm before the storm before 31. And I feel like every point in this season becomes like this, where you're like, all right, just twiddling my thumbs waiting for the next big event to happen. And that's kind of how I feel. Like, I feel like we learned nothing last week. Like, the good players are good.
Well, we did learn that Joao Pedro is in fact the GOAT. We did learn that.
I don't think we learned that. I think we learned that we're unlucky. But yeah, I don't know.
You're not buying Joao Pedro this week?
No, absolutely not. I stared at him for ages when I was deciding whether or not to transfer him out, and it sucks to get just immediately punched in the teeth after making that decision. But as you said, I mean, he lucked into 2 penalty assists. Like, there was the 94th minute winner. I just don't think Chelsea's that good of a team in general. Like, under Ross Senior, and I think that they have good players who are doing good things, and Joao Pedro is a good player, but I don't like it.
Why do you feel like they're not a good team under him? I feel like they've been so much better since he's come in, like as a team and results-wise.
I feel like Maresca held them back from an attacking standpoint because he's trying to play like pep ball, and like everything's got to be scripted and manufactured, and they have a very young and experienced team. And I feel like Rossinior's letting a little more of that chaos out, like, because he's also a relatively young manager, and he's just letting them like kind of go. And I think that because they sign good players, those good players are periodically going to score. But I think overall the system is not as good. Like, and I know they just pumped Villa, but I see that more as an indictment on Villa than I do like a Chelsea boon, right? So I'm not like trying to shit on Chelsea by any means. It's just every time I watch them, they're not really passing the eye test. You know, it's a lot of low XG chances and Joao Pedro being genuinely good. Like,
along those lines, and we're talking Joao Pedro striker territory, I think a big talking point that we haven't touched on yet. One of us has already sold Erling Haaland. Is there any interest in doing that from the other parties in the room?
There's no one for me to take that money to right now. Like, we're talking about not a lot happening. I just don't. Especially
what's your front line right now? You got Haaland, Ekitike, and Joao Pedro?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would tell you the buy is Thiago, but we all know how that's gone. So.
I mean, it could be, right? But Haaland has Forest this week, so I'm not sending him anywhere right now.
I feel really bad about
his West Ham.
That one too. Yeah. Well, I'm not sending him anywhere there.
I don't feel good about transferring Haaland out last week. Like that's the other part that I'm really mad about is even though I got rewarded for it, because I guess the reason I convinced myself to do it was because if Haaland didn't play, or if he's just been iffy, he's just been on kind of bad form for a couple weeks now. I was like, I can get rid of Haaland, get rid of potentially injured Rice, bring in Semenyo, who's been the guy on form on City, and solve my blank game week problem in one fell swoop. The problem is I'm just so terrified about not owning Haaland that I'm like, the ownership is so high that anytime he does do something, it's going to be a problem. And Luke, that graphic you showed earlier still says that Haaland's doing fine. Like he's still overperforming his expectations. Yeah, that one.
So, there he is. I was like, where is he? It's so hard to see on Joao Pedro's graph. This is Joao Pedro's world. We're just living in it.
So I don't know. Like I feel really like not great about doing that. And that's like terrifying me. So I wouldn't recommend it just because being on the non-ownership side of Haaland is never a fun experience.
Yeah, but Semenyo's the new Haaland, so I don't know.
I mean, it worked. I did transfer him in and he did score. This crazy part about this is the second time I've transferred in Semenyo for him to score and I get a red arrow this season. Like, it's crazy. It's happened twice to me.
Luke's just pissed at the world.
No, I'm just mad. I'm just mad at the world. I like forgot how mad I was at the world, and then we hopped on and started talking about FPL, and now I'm just like, I hate it here. Also,
these guys have not responded to me since the last game of last game week.
No,
and I don't feel bad about it at all.
No, I don't either.
Also, like, before we got on, I saw the tweet that Haaland got hooked early, and I'm just looking now. He came off at the 82nd minute. Classic FPL for people to be like, "Oh no, he got pulled out." It's the 82nd. It's fine. It's not a big deal at all. They were getting destroyed at that point, and they said, "Let's rest him." So it's fine. So yeah, if I had to guess, I bet you he does play. What?
This is the attitude you needed all season. You've had the Twitter mindshare mindset the entire season, and now it's switching.
Eat a dick.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Okay.
All right. Let's go to transfer plans. Here's Sharpe's bus team. Take us away.
Yeah. So right now nothing's happened.
I'm sorry. Before we get into this, I'm also pissed off that Salah scored. He had no right. What the fuck is up with that?
It is funny that there was so much conversation from people of like, you could bring in Salah and captain him. And it's the exact same logic as the Cole Palmer thing, where I scoffed at it and said, like, what the fuck are you doing? And then they come in and it works for them. And I'm just like, all right, never mind. I'm
so mad about that. I looked at the data for so long and it was so bad. Sorry. I had to just get that out. It's just like 15. Every time I look at my team, I'm like mad for a different reason.
This is going to be the shortest podcast we've ever done, but it's also going to be the most negative. Yeah, exactly. All right, Sharpe, take us away.
Get into it.
All right. I mean, I really like my team. To Luke's earlier point, it certainly feels like it could be a roll week. I would say the only thing you could look at is the fact that I do have 4 outfielders that will blank in 31, so I could try to fix that now. What?
No, sorry. I thought you were trying to say will blank this week, and I was like, damn, that's hilarious, but blank at 31. Continue.
Yeah, all right, good talk. So I could fix that now, but City have West Ham, and I'm not getting rid of Gabriel. So I feel really good about the team that I'm rolling out there this week. I mean, Joao Pedro, I feel like was the only question mark before last week about what I would do with him. I don't want to touch him. I mean, obviously, he's so hot. They're playing at home. Newcastle's been shit. So it's great. I expected to have Rodgers probably at least considering playing him leading into this. That's not going to happen. So really my question right now is between rolling and looking at a goalie. I have 1 million in the bank right now. So if I got rid of Royce, whatever the fuck his name is, it would be 5.8 that I got to play with. So I could pretty much get any goalie that I wanted aside from Raya, which I don't really want anyway, because he's going to blank. And I don't know if I don't really want to play for Bruggen over the next couple game weeks. So I'm kind of looking there. And this is where I've been looking at like the fixture ticker, because I'm like, I want to bring in Henderson, but Palace blank. I think that would be a great option. So now I'm basically stuck between Petrovic at Bournemouth, which would put me in a double Bournemouth defense, which feels like a lot to be banking on there, even against Burnley. Or I'm looking at Keller at Brentford, and that doesn't really excite me either. But I don't know. Those have been my thoughts. I hate you both. I've texted you guys. All right, whatever.
Good.
Cool.
No, excellent thoughts. That's been really fun. No, I'm glad you shared those.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I don't know, dude. Like, you're talking about a goalie. Like, truthfully, like, even if I wasn't in a bad mood, like, you're talking about a goalie transfer from a shitty goalie to another shitty goalie. I think you just roll.
Well, I was hoping for, a goalie to a better goalie, and one that would play.
What were the two you just said? The Bournemouth keeper and the Brentford keeper? Yeah. That's just as bad as what you got going on right now. I don't think that's in either case an upgrade. Genuinely.
Really?
Like, I mean, one of them could keep it's not to say that one of them couldn't keep it clean, but Bournemouth are horrible defensively. Brentford are fine, but probably just as good as Brighton. So
I don't know. I liked my 8 points from Hill last week. I don't feel like they were that bad.
I don't hate a Kelleher from Brentford.
I know that they have Wolves and Leeds next.
And Leeds are terrible away, and this time I know which one they're playing at. They're actually away. That would be good. Then they play Everton.
Hold up. It's at Leeds. I'm sorry.
No. We've got to get this. Let's do this right now. So when it in parentheses when it says H, that means that player is playing at home. When it says in parentheses away, it means that player is playing away. That's all it is.
I know. I just gaslight myself. I always go, no, that can't be right.
You second guess it and then you guess wrong. Yeah.
Yes.
I do understand why you're confused.
Like my FPL season.
It makes it look like Fulham home, like as in Fulham are at home. I get like that thought process, but it is just the player that you're looking at, or the team you're looking at.
Yes. Yeah. No, I just think that's bogus. It should be my way.
Fair enough. This is like the Money in the Bank argument from earlier in the season. It's like, but it's I want it to be this way, so it's gonna be
No, it's the kids who are out of touch.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm genuinely not. I'm not trying to be a dick Sharpe. I just don't think, like, in general, I'm not a fan of goalie moves. That's just my honest opinion on it. I don't think it adds that much value, and I think you'd probably be better served to save your transfer and potentially use it on a higher upside move later. That's my honest opinion, but it's not to say that.
But Kelleher to Sharpe's point though, you do have a wild card. So like, what are you saving it for at this point in time?
I mean, how many transfers do you have in the bank, Sharpe? How
many do you think?
Exactly. So you're like,
but we just talked about how that we barely even need a wild card. Like, is there a point in say, like, why not be aggressive and try to do anything I can now?
I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. Like, I really like, if you want to make the transfer, go for it. But I think that there's reasoning to be had because now that we can carry transfers through a wild card, like, I think there's reasoning to be had to keep them for later in the season. I never think that making a goalie move is worth the transfer. Like, not never, but very, very rarely do I think that that's worth the transfer. I think the transfer itself always has value. So yes, we're going into a wild card, but like we were talking about earlier, what if you decide you end up not wanting the wild card? You realize, like, actually, I'd rather just make a couple of moves, set my team up in the way where I don't wild card 32 and I save it for 35 or something before 36 double. So like I just think it gives you more flexibility. It gives you more opportunity. But again, what the fuck do I know? Why are you asking my advice?
Fair enough. I think it's the risk of either Bruggen not playing or the fact that he has Sunderland and Liverpool in his next two. So
does he have like genuine doubt in not playing? Has he?
No, but like I also didn't think Ropes did either, right? Like he didn't until all of a sudden he didn't.
Yeah, I suppose.
And then I don't have a backup, and I'd be fooped.
Yep. Fair enough. Mac, do you want to go?
Yeah, I got it. Let's see. I don't have like a bus team loaded in. I feel like I'm not making any transfers. So I'm just going to rock with this. To be honest, my team is probably going to look fairly similar to this. I think that the only real question is, okay, I should probably just pull up a bus team because you can't see the fixtures. And that's a terrible experience.
Well, actually, while you do that, I forgot to ask you, Sharpe, what is, looks like your captaincy right now is on Semenyo. Is it going to stay there?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Right now, I think it would be either between him or Ekatike for me against Tottenham. As good as Joao Pedro's been, I'm still not going to captain him against Newcastle when I have those two as options against those teams. So TBD. We'll see how we're feeling probably Friday afternoon and where it goes. But those would be the two that I would pick between.
Yep. I'm with that.
Luke, I need you to remove an image so I can add one.
Removing.
Boom. Okay. We're back. So, okay, here's my team. The problem is the fixtures are actually all pretty nice. Like, again, this is part of the reason I'm so mad about last week is just because I feel like I planned this really well and I have like a wealth of options.
And literally a wealth of wealth too. Look at that shit. 5.4 in the bank is crazy.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that. That's kind of crazy.
You can afford literally whoever you want at any
except
position.
Haaland, actually.
I mean, you could still get him. Ekitike to Haaland.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't really want to do that. Not against Tottenham. I have the captainship provisionally on Ekitike against my own team. But yeah, I don't know. Like the challenging part about this for me is that sort of like Sharpe said, there's no one I really want to go out and get. Like if I drop out a Rodgers, it's like maybe for an Anderson. And that's probably the most exciting move I could make aside from getting Haaland back in somehow.
And that would give you like $2 more million in the bank. You would be stupid rich.
Yeah, I know. And like for what gain? At this point in time,
Right.
It just doesn't feel worth it to like make a transfer when I have so much money and good fixtures. Like I can't play all 11, therefore I don't need to I feel like transfer in somebody who's going to allow me to just bench somebody else with a good fixture. Therefore, I'm probably just rolling into 31 to avoid any unexpected surprises. And this is going to be a stupid decision, but I'm probably not bringing Haaland back until 32 at the soonest because I took the 2 transfers early last week. My plan was dump in 28. You know, I had 2 transfers going into 29, and I was like, I'm going to hold these until 31 and have like 5 to get ready for 31. I used those early last week to get rid of Haaland and Rice, solve my Arsenal City problem for the blank in 31. So I really can't, I don't think, bring Haaland back in only to have to transfer him out the next week.
I was going to say, I feel like that's obvious that you aren't going to bring Haaland in. Why would you
Yeah,
bring him
but
back?
like it's really horrible knowing that I'm going to be on the opposite side of that this week.
It's just 1 week. You'll be okay.
I mean,
Yeah, that's what
if
I
I
thought
were
about
you,
Joao Pedro last week.
if I were you, I wouldn't bring him back in until 34, right? I mean, he
Yeah.
blanks Chelsea, Arsenal.
Yeah.
No, I don't disagree. So I feel like this is my sort of season-defining move right here. The wild card into getting rid of Haaland. Like I'm really betting against the ownership, and we're just gonna have to see if it works out for me.
Let's try it.
Like it's really never a good idea to go against the ownership because if he returns once, I lose a million ranks. But at the same time, like I like my team. I'm not dissatisfied with how I've been playing the game. And I have a ton of money and all of the guys I want, barring Haaland. So yeah, I don't know. Guys that I was watching that I like potentially want to get in would actually be an Anderson because his fixtures get nice and he's attacking more. Rodgers on the watch list in terms of exits just because he's a bum. But I'm like, the fixture run's just so good. So I even if I could make a transfer this week, I don't know where I'd go. So I probably just won't.
I think the only... Sorry, go ahead.
Krupi to Joao Pedro?
It's enticing, actually. But
I mean, it requires Haaland to get 2 moves, but you're saying you're going to wait 3-4 weeks until you even consider bringing him back in. You could stack transfers to get back to him.
The problem is, okay, so hypotheticals for you. Who do I bench?
Rodgers, Alderete.
Rodgers is obvious. Alderete is probably the other obvious one.
Yeah, I think it would just be Rodgers. Yeah, that's easy because then, I mean, you have a wealth of defenders. So yeah, it would be...
Right, but we're still
Joao
one
Pedro for Rodgers.
We need another bench. We have 2 on the bench right now.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be 3-4-3. What do you mean? So he brings in Joao Pedro for Kirk.
Give me fucking player names. God damn it. Who are you benching?
Rodgers.
Oh my God. Who are the other 2?
Fucking pick 2 defenders. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter.
Okay,
Like
pick up
3 defenders. I don't. Okay, so you pick. You're obviously playing Gabriel, probably Senesi. So then it's between Gahey and Virgil.
Which is
Jesus.
crazy because you have City against West Ham. I'd feel great about that with Gahey's attacking threat. And then you have Van Dijk, who also has an attacking threat against a team that is sputtering.
On the worst form of the calendar year. Yeah. Like, it's actually a tough week to, like, figure out who to bench. And I don't rate Joao Pedro. I can't bring him in and be a coward after I just shat on him for the first half of the podcast. That being said, I hadn't considered that is an enticing move. The only thing I'm wondering though is like, should I not consider playing Krupi versus Burnley? And then if so, who do I bench? Because that is another headache.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you would consider that with just because of the players that you have. Like I would feel really confident in the rest of them, like hands down. Whereas Krupi, I feel like is a risk. So
I agree. Minutes risk. Yeah, so it's like not an interesting week, but it does feel like a week of like a game of margins, because the challenge with weeks where everybody has a good fixture is that means inevitably some people are probably going to score, and you just have to really hope that is the ones that you have. Like the ideal week in my mind is when like 80% of my team has a good week, not when everybody, including my bench, has a good week. Like I'm just opening myself up for more pain. So yeah, not a ton going on. I like my team. I'm just a little bit salty about the general state of the soccer world right now. But I guess I am happy to be back now.
Yeah.
There we go. It seems like one of you have turned their tide, and I think I just pissed Luke off even more by yelling at him. So
I think Rogers you could do to Wirtz if you wanted to, and then out of the defenders I would bench Gahey. That's
actually a pretty.
He's not defconning and he hasn't been attacking, so I think it's a fine bench.
I really don't mind that Wirtz transfer. I kind of forgot about him. I feel like that is a lot of eggs in one Liverpool basket. The crazy part is with the amount of money I have, like if I were to just like take a hit, I could bring in Joao Pedro and Wirtz and still have 1.5 in the bank. Like it's absurd what you can do when you don't have a Haaland or a Salah. Like genuinely amazing. It's basically just every other player in the game that you'd possibly want.
Yeah, it's just a weird situation where I don't know who you'd want.
Right. So
yeah,
it's interesting. Let's see yours, Luke.
All right. So I went into this assuming that I had a bunch of money in the bank, and then I remembered that I fucking brought in Van Dijk last week. Thanks a lot for that wreck. So now this is the squad we're rocking with. Nothing in the bank. No options to go to Wirtz. Yeah, probably want to find a place for Hill in the starting lineup. Maybe that's Harry Wilson.
Yeah, I feel like Wilson's giving it to you.
Yeah. So there you go. Dream team. Look at that. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I have any moves to be made. I think this is a fine team on paper.
It's like you said, everybody's probably got a pretty fine team on paper right now. Like
yeah, it'll find ways to disappoint. I think the question is more so around captaincy. I'm with you, Sharpe. I'd probably go Ekatike would be my thought, but Bruno has also returned, been the best captaincy option over the last few weeks, so definitely is worth a consideration. But
the problem I have is that my team is like so extremely similar to yours, Luke, that like
how do we differentiate from each other?
Yeah, how do I not get in the plunger is the main game I'm going to try to play at this point.
Dude, no, that's so real though, because like the last few weeks, like when I was in it 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was like we all had one different Arsenal player. It was the only way that I could possibly get around either of you. It was crazy.
Yeah, I guess I'm like pinning my hopes on Senesi this week over Hill.
Yeah, what a funny week it is, and that's how it goes. It'll be like a Senesi goal or something, like something random that'll put it over the edge.
No, I think you guys are going to strike back with Bumo and Dango. I think that's going to be. I'm eventually going to get bit by that.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Speak it into existence.
Yeah.
We're also going to survive. Say it while we're here.
I'm wondering if I should just do something like ridiculous and Captain Hill or something. Just because fuck it.
No.
Dude, I'm at like a million rank. Might as well.
Yeah. FPL is an attrition sport, and all you need to do is outlast the other idiots who are thinking the same thing.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, but how many more game weeks do we have? Like
10.
Eventually, what are you?
10 more weeks towards?
Yeah, like you're almost
okay.
there.
But I gained 400k game week, like ranks in 4 weeks. Like your season isn't over.
It's true,
right?
It's true.
Like,
no, agreed. I mean,
it's hard to not tune out when it's going terribly on every front. I understand. I've been there, but
yeah. All right. What else before we get out of here? It seems like we have kind of a few different takes on captaincy genuinely seems like there's a ton of options. So any pros or cons that you guys want to touch on there? Of like, I think Ekitike is a great shout, just unfortunately because of how bad Tottenham are. But
Yeah,
I think you could say the same for Thiago against Wolves. You still could go Haaland against West Ham. That's a totally fine captaincy. So is Semenyo. So is Bruno. Like, I really think it's wide open. So is there anything that makes you guys want to go to one of those guys over the other?
Well, okay. So for me, Luke, you've been remarkably nice about this Tottenham thing. Sharpe, I still hate you. But
I mean, I've been saying like that they're bad, but just saying sorry every time. I said it like I was about to say I've definitely been saying it more than Sharpe.
It's just not. It's
no, it's just because I'm not smug. That's the difference.
There's no malice
that I'm not doing well. So that's why you know that I'm in pain when I'm saying.
Well, okay. So here's the thing. Like, genuinely, it's Tottenham versus Liver VAR pool. So they're going to get a pen that they don't deserve, and then Ekitike is going to take it, and it's going to be great. Actually, jokes aside, though, I think that Ekitike is probably the best player playing the worst team, and I think that's what I look for in my captaincy most weeks. Like, just what is the most gap that I can get? And I don't think West Ham are like very good, but they've been on form, which is super important in the survival battle. And City really like haven't. Like, they just got pumped to Real Madrid. I'm thinking that they're thinking that the title race is probably over, which another misery point for me. But it doesn't feel like that City is like waking up like a sleeping lion. And, we have question marks over Haaland. We have question marks over the Brentford guys. It feels like to me, it really is just like Ekitike or Joao Pedro, if you believe in the hot hand, I guess is the two where I'm actually leaning.
Yeah, I think the ironic part about City is as they usually wake up towards this part of the season or towards the back half, it's the two guys they brought in that have probably been playing the best for them, like non-City players coming in and being studs. So I just think that's interesting in total. I agree with you. I think Ekitike is a great option, but Semenyo, my hesitation with Ekitike is watching Liverpool consistently enough. You don't know if you're going to get the team that decides to play aggressive and press. Yeah, or you're going to get the team that loses to Wolves. So
that's the main reason I feel bad about this Ekitike transfer. Is because that Liverpool team is just so hit or miss, and they looked so good 2 games ago, and that made me want to bring them in. But then last game they just didn't show up. It was so weird.
I mean, we just lost 1-0, and ironically, VAR took away our goal against a fucking Turkish team. So that's sick.
An angel just got its wings.
I like non-FPL related, but you guys are talking about this title battle. I still feel like City's really in this. They have a game in hand. They're only down 7. If they win that game, they're 4 back. They've won 4 of their last 5, and we're not that far off of Arsenal drawing to both Brentford and Wolves in the same week. So
Wolves is a fucking tough squad. All right, I'm tired of hearing about that.
They're hard nosed, run it between the tackles squad.
Yeah. They've honestly, they're putting a fight up though to try to get into the relegation battle.
I don't even think that's it. I think it's just pure like spite at this point for them. They're just trying to be pissed. They're playing pissed off.
It is actually just so crazy though. Like, genuinely, I like Wolves, and it's just kind of crazy how good their form has been and how many good teams they've beaten and how much of a darling they are to everybody right now, and how
then you
far below they are.
You're like, damn.
You're really wow, you guys have been amazing. You're still 12 points back from 18.
Yeah, they've had a rough year. Yeah, I don't know. I could still see it, but that's also just hopium. I really want Arsenal not to win, and I don't know. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun for City to spoil it. It's like in F1, like Max Verstappen sneaking up. Like, you kind of hate him, but you also kind of love that he's always in the mix and he always does it. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a good analogy.
All right, does that wrap things up?
I think so. I think it's like the calm before the storm. Not a lot going on. I actually do feel better. I need to do a little bit of a vent sesh. So thank you guys for listening. Luke, do you feel any better?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so that's a lie, but he hasn't felt good since game week 2. So
that's true.
It's understandable.
This is true. I've been depressed since game week 2.
Sharpe, you obviously feel great.
Yeah,
Sharpe's been riding just a life high. Yeah, 100%.
I'm still not responding to your texts for 5 more days, but
What
Put him on
post,
ice.
post
He had
Tottenham
to
Liverpool?
go timeout.
So are we all rolling? Is that where we landed here?
No,
I made the goalie transfer.
No,
Yeah.
I need the what's it? Retail therapy, transfer therapy.
Well,
to
Sharpe
make-
just needs confirmation that I told him not to make the transfer for him to make the transfer. That's the old recipe. He's like,
Yeah.
what does shit touch tell me? Okay, cool. I'll not.
And Max suggested Keller, and all I really needed was a push in one direction. I think that was the right play.
For sure.
I actually do think that was the right play. I didn't agree with don't transfer goalie.
All right. That wraps things up. We'll
Cool.
catch you guys next week.